Good evening, everybody. How are we doing?
Hiya.
Hiya.
How's the farm? How's everyone's week been?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
not bad.
Yeah, excellent. Anybody got any good news or progress to report or something good happened?
Um, Went and had a look round the gym
Oh, yes.
and going for my induction on Saturday.
Lovely. Oh, well done, Leslie. That's very exciting.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
First time in the gym for many, many years.
Brilliant. Oh, that's excellent.
Bit scary.
Yeah, that's understandable and
Yep.
normal.
But I'm
Yeah.
going to go for it.
Absolutely. Oh, that sounds fantastic. And is it a nice gym? Nice setup? Have you had a look at it yet? Or
Yes.
yeah, you've
We
seen the
went and
equipment.
had a look round. There's lots of machines that are completely updated to the last time I've been in a gym.
Great.
So, but yes, and I had a call with Fra this morning and told him.
Brilliant.
And so he's asked me to take some pictures if they will allow it.
Of course,
so he
yeah.
can do a program for me. So
Oh,
all good.
fantastic. That's excellent. Well done, Leslie. Kickstarted it and
Yes.
you're ready to go then this weekend.
Yes.
How exciting. And you have to keep us posted.
Yes.
Yeah,
We'll do.
that's fantastic. That's some great positivity.
Oh, positive. I'm walking home from work.
Excellent, Rhonda. That's a nice place to be.
Yeah, it's a bit dark at the moment.
It is a bit dark, yeah. Was it a good day in work?
It's the end of the crop, so yes, a good day.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything starts anew tomorrow.
Excellent. Yeah, very good. Brilliant. Yeah, more good news. Any other updates for us or anything else happen exciting?
I and Ross and I in a hotel room, hence slightly trying to find a comfortable place.
Ah, very
Um,
good. Yeah.
I'm at a 3-day whole horse dissection, which is fascinating.
You're doing a 3-day horse dissection.
Yes.
Oh, a course in it.
No, we're doing an actual dissection on a horse
Oh,
over
wow.
3 days. Yeah.
Ah,
It's actually
and
a client's horse that we could never figure out why we couldn't get it right, and we're finding out why. It's
wow.
quite
Oh,
broken.
interesting.
But,
And what are your theories at the moment? What sort of
well, we know she
are you
had
testing?
a stomach ulcer problems, and that's
Mhm.
been confirmed. She also had a weird right ventricle in her heart. They
Oh,
found an occlusion fracture on her left elbow.
right.
All things that the vets have not been able to find and give answers to because they're so massive, the horses, you just
Yeah,
can't see every bit of them.
of course.
Yeah, so we've already been very validated in the decision to put her down.
That's great. Yeah.
But because I got here yesterday and I didn't have to get there till 10:30, I went for a 6-mile walk.
Wow. Well done, Sarah.
I
That's
know,
excellent.
completely mad. I don't know what Frau's done to me. I don't know what he's turned me into a lunatic.
He doesn't have that effect.
I've even bought my scales and tape measures so I can do a proper weigh-in tomorrow.
Well done. Oh, that's fantastic. Because I was going to ask you, I know you're in a different location. So how are you finding keeping up with
Yeah.
your plan and
Well,
routine?
I'm only here I came on Monday, I go home tomorrow. So I did the long walk yesterday morning. I did a 2.5-mile walk this morning and did my fitness plan, which was a bit tight because the room's not very big, but we managed to make it. Scalp angels had to be done on the bed, but hey ho, we found a way.
Yeah, that's
So,
excellent. Well, well done, Sarah. That's
yeah.
brilliant. Fantastic. Excellent. Any other news or setbacks if anybody's had a tough week, maybe? Something difficulty that you've encountered? Or anyone joining us for the first time as well, or 6 p.m. Mastermind?
That's me. I'm joining for the first time.
Hi, Sue. How are you?
Hello. Hello.
And are you happy to tell us a little bit about your goals at present? What are you working towards?
Yeah. Working towards being, I think a size 14 for the first time since puberty.
Okay, that sounds fantastic.
Wow.
Excellent. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay. And how are you getting on so far? Oh, and Ruth is saying the same thing. She's agreeing with you, Sue.
Yeah. Well, I've dropped
Oh,
I've
sorry.
dropped a size and lost a stone since the middle of September.
Okay, brilliant. That's fantastic. Well done. Brilliant. And any setbacks, any difficulties that you've encountered so far, Sue?
Yeah, just when the clocks went back, all of a sudden I thought, I don't like life anymore. I just,
Oh, it's hard,
you
isn't
know,
it?
everything just kind of went, oh. So yeah, and just fitting everything in some days when I work quite long days, 4 days a week. So I'm up at 6, I start work at 7, I don't finish till 5 or 6, and then just fitting everything in with dog walking and cooking. I just find it quite difficult on working days. So
That's a
I'm
busy
gonna have,
day.
yeah, I'm gonna have to be more disciplined and just
Right.
meal prep, batch cook, so that I can just take something out of the freezer, 15 minutes and it's ready, you know.
Yeah, make life easy for yourself.
Yeah.
You have to do that, as you said, you have to encounter those scenarios and realize, oh no, this isn't working. I don't have enough time to be able to work it this way, so I'm going to have to come up with a solution. And like you said, if you have time, a day you're not working, that you can do some batch cooking and it's there and it's ready. And then there's no kind of vulnerabilities around, oh, I'm too tired or don't have time, or which can be too easy. Yeah. Yeah, very good. Well done, Sue. Excellent stuff. That's great.
There's 2 of me.
Oh, Anne, are you here?
My laptop needed updated, so I came on my phone and I can't get it off my phone.
Hold on, I
guys.
think I might be able to kick you out.
Good.
Although hopefully it won't give out to you or something. Like I hope there's not going to be any consequences for me kicking you out. I could put you in the waiting room. Would that work?
And there you go.
Yeah,
Just
there you
one
go,
of me
done
now.
it.
Yeah,
Thank
I'll
you.
just leave you there. It'll be fine. I would feel bad
I'll
if I
go
kicked
for
you
my
out.
sleep.
Something might happen, and then no, I don't want. We don't want to go there.
Yeah.
How are you, Anne? How was your
I'm
week?
good, thank you. I had my first PT session ever this
Oh,
afternoon.
How did it
Fantastic.
go?
That's
Fun.
amazing. How did it
Yeah.
go?
It was good.
Yeah,
It was good, yeah.
enjoyed
yeah.
it.
Yeah, just push me just that little bit harder, which
Brilliant.
is what I was needing.
Yeah.
So that was good.
It's fantastic.
And I don't know when we can see this.
The Everyday
A
High
new-
Protein Handbook.
A
Ooh.
new recipe book, and there's masses of really good calorie counted, macro counted recipes
Very good.
in it.
Excellent.
So
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
tried 3 new recipes out at this week, so they're all good.
Okay. Oh, excellent. Fantastic. Oh, well, geez, Anne, you've been busy.
Aye.
Yeah.
Got to keep busy.
Gotta keep busy. Yeah. A great way to be. Fair play, Anne. Thanks for that. Excellent. Alrighty. So we'll go ahead and get started unless we have any other thoughts or if anybody is new who's joining us, just shout at us. I am going to go ahead and get our topic for this evening. Now, and again, for anybody new joining us, we're going to have a chat about our topic first of all, and we'll go into the chat box for this, and we want to type in thoughts, questions, observations, anything that comes to mind. You can pop it into the chat box, and we'll do some breakout rooms. I know a couple of you, apologies, I misread some of those messages, and a couple of you have to pop off at 20 to, and that's absolutely fine. Thanks for letting me know, because it makes my job easier when I'm organizing the breakout rooms to know if people can't make it. So thank you for that. And then we come back in then and we have a chat to bring it all together. Okay, so our topic, excuse me, for this evening is going to be all things asking for help. Okay, so I want to throw that term out at you. This idea of asking for help. Okay, what I would like you to do into the chat box is to give me your idea of what it is to ask for help, or what comes to mind if we were to discuss the topic of asking for help. Might be something positive, maybe it's something negative that comes to mind. No right or wrong answers, just want to try and get some of your thoughts around asking for help. So again, if you think about how you would define it, how you would view it, general thoughts, definitions, things like that into the chat. What do we think? And I have a Kay Battison. Kay, can you give me your name? So I'm not just pop your name in the chat, but admitting I can't do it. Yeah. And that's very important because, you know, I mean, let's say, for example, we were chatting about our first PT sessions, maybe joining the gym, haven't done a gym class in a while or gym routine, right? And we're going to admit, okay, I'm walking into this and I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to work that machine. I don't know how to do that exercise. So the first step, as we said there, is admitting I can't do it. Yes, very good. And we've got to admit that to ourselves first, right? And then from there, the asking for help can come from there. Yes, very good. And Sarah says uncomfortable. Yes. So that's why I was kind of thrown out that idea. Is it positive? Is it negative? Right, when we're thinking about, is this something that I enjoy doing? Is this something that I like to avoid doing? Is it something that makes me feel uncomfortable, as Sarah was saying there? Very good. So that's a very important thing to do. Just taking a moment, and we're going to talk about this more now in a minute, exploring our attitudes towards asking for help. Because we all have different attitudes about different things, including asking for help, right? And these attitudes, as we've talked about over the last couple of weeks, can be good. Right, if we've got, you know, healthy attitudes around things, productive attitudes around things, that can be really helpful, and that can help us then to, you know, get done what we need to get done to achieve our goals. But sometimes if we've got unhealthy attitudes or unhealthy ideas about these kind of things, then that can cause us problems. Yeah, very good. Sue is saying, recognize when you can't do something on your own or you need someone to give you ideas. Oh, very good. Yeah, so you might say, I don't have the skill set, so I'm going to need someone to guide me. Or I might say, I don't have an idea or I don't have the creativity at the moment, so I need somebody else to help me with that. Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. Jennifer's saying, reaching out for support when you're struggling with things. Excellent. Yeah. And remember, we are social creatures. We are designed to reach out to other people when we are in need of support, when we are in need of help. Okay. So we have to remind ourselves of that. And it's the reaching out part, as we said there. Kay, excellent. Kay, fantastic. Thanks for letting me know. So Ruth is saying, asking for help is not easy for a control freak stroke perfectionist. Control freaks, a little bit harsh, Ruth. Perfectionist, I'll somewhat let you away with. But yes, absolutely. And again, with perfectionism, there is always this sense of, I have to do everything perfectly. I have to be able to be seen to be competent. I have to be able to be seen to know what I'm doing. And of course, all of that can produce that fear of asking for help.
Yeah,
Yes.
and not being able to trust somebody else to do it.
Oh, yeah, and that too. Big part of perfectionism.
Yeah, that's what I mean about the control thing. Yeah.
Yes, very good. And Anne is saying, when I ask for help, it is to find something out that I don't know. Okay, excellent. Yeah. So there might be some areas of life that maybe it's a little bit easier to ask for help. So such as, okay, I actually don't know, I don't have the knowledge about that, or I've never heard of that. That might be easier to ask for help. Yeah, very good. And Haley is saying, feeling out of my depth or lacking confidence that I have the skills or knowledge, etc. Oh, yeah. And feeling out of my depth, oftentimes there can be a bit of imposter syndrome in there as well. And then we've got, you know, again, lacking confidence is going to be a key part of that imposter syndrome as well. So yeah, absolutely. Jackie's saying only started. Okay, so only getting started. Yes, with something. We might need to ask for help for that. Yes, very good. And Rhonda, admitting defeat used to be my go-to. Yeah. And now it's a chance to learn. Oh, excellent. Yeah, it's not failure, it's feedback. Oh, that didn't quite go to plan. That didn't work out. Okay, I need a plan B here. Yeah. And if I can't think of plan B, I'm going to ask somebody for help. Yeah, excellent. And Anne is saying it helps to expand our learning. Oh yeah, absolutely. So we don't come out onto this planet knowing everything about everything. we have to learn from other people, especially when we're younger. We know that a huge amount of learning is having people around us who are more knowledgeable than us, so they have the skills or they have the knowledge, and they guide us then in our learning. But the same thing continues on. It went into adulthood. We're still learning from people who are maybe more knowledgeable in a particular area. Yeah, very good. And Daryl is saying, hello, Daryl, how are you? Daryl saying, I don't like asking for help. Yes, and that's a very common feeling, Daryl. And we are going to talk about that. So oftentimes it is something that we avoid doing, despite the benefits associated with it. But yes, we might have an uncomfortable feeling around that. Very good. And Joe is saying, feeling a bit daft because I can't do something. And trying not to be irritated, but keep asking questions. Oh, yeah. And don't know what you what you do. You don't know what you don't know. Exactly. And that's important as well, because we might have a sense of, well, I can ask so many questions, but then after that I can't ask any more, even though we still don't have the information that we need. And instead of, again, focusing on our learning, or I need more information here, it's more, how am I coming across to the other person? Are they getting tired of my questions? So again, we're going into the mind of the other person and making assumptions, as we've talked about over the last couple of weeks, that we're irritating them or we're annoying them or we're asking them too many questions. Yeah. Again, we want to be in our own minds, because we can't read other people's minds. More often than not, people will tell you, right? Listen, I've answered enough questions there, or I'm going to send you to somebody else. Can't answer any more questions. And if they're willing to answer the questions, they're willing. Jackie's saying, never knew how to ask for help before TSD and thought it meant you were failing and inadequate. Ah, very good. And again, that goes back to those beliefs and attitudes that we've been chatting about over the last couple of weeks, and how we develop these attitudes. Okay. And we'll talk about some of the environments that we might find ourselves in where we grow these attitudes. But certainly if we have the attitude of, if I ask for help, that means I'm failing, well, then of course we're going to be far less likely, right, to reach out. And that's going to, of course, cause problems for us. Yes, excellent, very good. And Jennifer's saying it's a strength, not a weakness. Absolutely. Yeah, and that attitude is very, very important, because as we said, it's helping us to grow, it's helping us to learn, it's helping us to move forward, it's helping us to achieve. Yes. And Haley's saying, I find it more comfortable being asked for help than me asking for help. I feel a burden if I ask for help. Yeah, and again, it's worth throwing that idea out there, Haley, because we see then how we contradict ourselves. Because already you've said, I'm happy for other people to ask for help, happy to give them a hand where I can. I wouldn't always be able to do it. Or, you might have to set a boundary and say no, and that's okay. But for the most part, I'm happy to help people. Whereas then we assume, oh, but if I ask for help, I feel like a burden. So why is it then we have to ask ourselves, why is it that me asking for help makes me a burden, versus if the person who I'm asking for help was in the reverse and asking me, I wouldn't hesitate. Of course, I'd be happy to help them. And we get good feelings associated with helping people as well. And particularly if people are very grateful, or, we've been able to make an impact. So it's very important that we have those opportunities. And Jennifer, you're saying the same, depends on who I'm asking. Oh, very good. And their past responses. Yeah. And look, it goes without saying, we're all different. We all have our strengths and our weaknesses, and some people are probably more helpful than others, and that's all right. So yeah, we could be sensible in who we ask. Jackie, you have to go in a couple of minutes. No problem at all. Thank you for letting me know. And Joe is saying, go for self-help first. Yeah, well, that's a good way to do it. Exploring, is there something I can do for myself to manage this situation? And then we can call in somebody else at that point. Absolutely, we could use that strategy, Joe. Yeah, very good. Excellent, well done. Very good definitions. And kind of a mix of positive and negative in there, which is good to see. Okay. Now, just again, some clarity here, some general statements, right? We all have moments in our lives where we require the assistance of others. Okay. We don't ever know all there is to know or have the skills to do everything proficiently or successfully, right? As I said, we can't start on day one and know everything and know how to do everything and have all the skills and have all the knowledge. It's just not humanly possible. And a bit like as Haley was saying there, I don't have a problem with people asking me for help, but then I feel like I'm a burden when I ask for help. So again, we don't expect other people to know everything. And we're willing to help them out then if they need it. So it makes sense then that we would have occasion to ask someone for help, right, at some point. You take going up in the space shuttle, you want to go and visit the moon, you want to go and visit Mars, you're going to have to ask, this is your idea, I want to put somebody up there on Mars, you're going to have to ask for a lot of assistance because there's not a chance that you're going to know everything there is to know about how to put a space shuttle together, how to get it up into space, how you're going to land on Mars, how you're going to train your astronauts, how you're going to pick your astronauts. You're going to need a lot of assistance. So you're going to have to pick up the phone and say, listen, I don't know anything about astronaut selection. I need you to come down here and help me. Okay. And it's all of those conversations then that help us to explore space, for example. And I liked that was there in the comments earlier on, which was great, about asking for help facilitates my learning. Asking for help facilitates my growth. It helps me to be better. It helps me to be stronger. And that was great to see in the comments. And that's it. This is how, as humans, how we are going to do great things is by asking other people for help. Okay. So we might, again, good evidence in the comments there of some of those unhelpful beliefs and attitudes we can have about asking for help. So that's all really good. So if we notice, I have some helpful beliefs or unhelpful attitudes, right? Again, that self-awareness is good. We want to be able to, oh, okay, I've noticed that. And then we want to be able to balance that up with, it makes sense that on occasions, I'm going to have to ask people for help. Okay. Now that might feel strange and it might feel weird, and that's okay. Because particularly as we were saying, I know Ruth was talking about things like perfectionism earlier on. And again, with perfectionism, it can seem like a really stark contrast to then say, I don't know how to do that. Could you show me how to do that? Right. But we've got to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. And a couple of you mentioned that in the comments as well, that word uncomfortable. Okay. Uncomfortable in a lot of cases is a sign that we're taking that little bit of step. And Anne was talking about that just always taking that little step outside the comfort zone, another little step outside the comfort zone, because then eventually they become bigger steps. So you're all on the ball this evening, which is great. Okay. Now, question before we move on. Issues as to why we might struggle to ask for help. So what might be some of the reasons? I know a couple of you touched on some of them there, which is great. Any other options as to why, or ideas as to why we might struggle to ask for help? So maybe you could think about your own experience if you're not a fan of asking for help and say, where might that have come from? Where did that start? Why might I have concerns or discomfort about asking for help? And Jennifer is saying embarrassment. Oh, very good. Yeah, excellent. So avoidance of negative emotions. Yeah, and we're assuming as well with our assumptions. Remember, we were talking about those. We're assuming there's going to be some negative emotions there. Yeah, very good. Sarah is saying a lack of self-confidence. Oh, excellent. Yeah, brilliant. Because we've got to be able to say, me asking for help, it doesn't undermine my current skill. It doesn't undermine my current value in this job or in this role. But we've got to have that self-confidence, that base, and then from there we can ask for help, because we understand that doesn't, asking for help doesn't say anything about us. It just says we need a bit more knowledge or we need help with our skills. It doesn't say anything about us personally or our worth or our value in a particular area. Sharon is saying we could feel that we're making ourselves look weak. Oh, yes. Okay. Particularly in the workplace. So then it might be about how we perceive people are looking at us asking for help. Yeah, very good. And maybe will people take advantage of that? There might be a fear there. Yeah, very good. And Daryl's saying a lack of confidence. Excellent. Frightened of looking a fool. Yeah, and again, how we can associate these two things. When again, we know we have to ask for help, but at some point in our lives, we're saying, oh, does that make me look silly? Does that make me look like a fool? Right. And then we carry these beliefs with us throughout life. And of course, if we try to go through life without ever asking for help, well, we're in trouble. And Rhonda is saying, taught to learn from my mistakes by father. Very good. So it could be, we got it wrong, or we asked for help and we were punished, or we were given out to, or we were embarrassed, or yeah, very good. So other people and their attitudes around asking for help can be very influential. Yeah, excellent. Joe is saying, feels it's something I should already know. Ooh, with the shoulds. Again, we're going back to our attitudes, right? The shoulds and the musts. I should be this, I should be that. I should know everything there is to know about this task, despite the fact that I've only started it. And even if you've been doing the task for 30 years, doesn't mean you're going to know everything, right? I mean, that would be boring. We always have to be learning. We always have to say, geez, I've actually never heard, I've been doing this 30 years and I've never come across that. Do tell me more, right? And again, that shows our confidence. And Jackie's saying feeling stupid or intimidated or made to feel small. Yeah, so negative experiences a lot of the time early on as well. It doesn't always have to be early on. It could be you've started in a new role and work and, you know, this is kind of the vibe that you're getting. Yeah, very good. Jennifer shows our vulnerability. Ooh, very good. Yeah, because we kind of feel, oh, am I exposing myself a little bit here? Are people going to see those vulnerabilities? Yeah, those areas where I need work. Yeah, very good. And Sue is saying, and feeling like a failure. Again, associating asking for help with failure. But we know that's not going to happen, because without asking for help, that's when we fail. When we need that help, that's when we fail. So we've got to be able to change those attitudes. We've got to be able to see asking for help not as a failure, but as something that's going to help to get me closer to my goals, or to learn, or to grow, or whatever our reasons are. Yeah, well done, everybody. Very good. Okay, so there's lots of different reasons. Some of the most common, again, you touched on them all. We might look incompetent, weak, or inferior. And we know that children as young as 7 can have fears about asking for help. Right, so this is not something that we just have in adulthood. Also, children can develop those beliefs, and then of course we carry it through. We might be concerned about rejection and those negative emotions, as we talked about as well, embarrassment. We might be concerned about burdening other people or inconveniencing other people. Again, however, to the contrary, we know, well, if someone needed my help, I'd be happy to do it. So these concerns may feel more relevant in some contexts than others, but they're all very relatable and very human. So it's okay that maybe you're better asking your friends for help, say, for example, then in a work setting, you may be a lot less likely to ask for help. And that makes sense as humans, that there'll be some areas where we're better able to ask for help than others. But what we want to say, as we've been saying there, we want to flag that a lot of these concerns are oftentimes exaggerated and or mistaken. Again, because we're learning these usually when we're very young, even as young as 7. We're not able to think rashly. We're not able to kind of, lay things out and say, does that really make sense? Does it really hold that if I need help, that makes me a failure? We just can't think like that when we're that young. So then we carry that through. We say, oh, that must be the case. And I'm just going to continue thinking like that now for the rest of my life. And of course, that causes us all sorts of problems. So Rhonda is saying, I realized years later that learning from my mistakes by my father was more to do with him feeling superior and needed. Very good. Yeah. And now I learn from others' mistakes as well. Yeah. Yeah, excellent. And that's a great way to do it. Oh gosh, that didn't work out for that person. So I'll try something different. I might approach that conversation with that person in a different way, or yeah, absolutely. And again, understanding that when other people are being critical of us or expecting perfection from us, etc., that's on them. That's their need for perfectionism. It's nothing to do with us. Yeah, very good, Rhonda. Well done. Very good insight. Now, we also have to address the possibility, right, that somebody might say no, right? So we might say, listen, sorry there, I don't know how to work this machine. Would you be able to give me a hand? And they might turn around and go, I'm really tight for time because I have to get back for work in 15 minutes. I'm so sorry, I can't help you. Okay, so what we've got to be able to say is, okay, we don't have to personalize it. It's not that the person went, oh, no, I don't want to show you the machine. Why would I show you the machine? I have better things to be doing at my time. They're just under time pressure, right? So, or somebody might be, struggling in terms of, they might be time poor. They might have a lot of things on their plate. There can be all sorts of reasons as to why people say no, right? Maybe they don't know how to help us. Maybe they're saying, oh, I actually don't know anything about that. But what I'm going to say instead is, really sorry, can't help you with that, right? Okay, so we have to also be comfortable with accepting that we might get a no, right? And the no is saying, okay, I've gone down this angle looking for help, growth, learning, whatever opportunities are down there. Didn't work out. So now I've got to go a different route. Okay. And as we said, and we were chatting about that in the comments as well, maybe some people are more helpful in certain areas than others. And we learn that over time. So if we're, let's say we're in we have a challenging situation and we might reach out to a friend or a neighbor and we don't really get a favorable response and we think, that mightn't be the person to go to for help, when I'm in a really tricky situation. Whereas you might have somebody else who always gets back to you in a timely manner and maybe has some good input, and you'd say, that's a person I would go to and ask for help. So we can be savvy about it, right? But we also have to recognize there will be times, no matter who it is, what the situation is, that we'll be told no, and that's okay, right? It's not rejection. We don't have to personalize things. It's just, can't do that for you today, or, in this instance, and that's okay. So we got to get comfortable about that. The other part is that fear of being found out. Okay. And as we were talking earlier about this idea of the imposter syndrome. Okay. Now, remember, we can have these very strict ideas or strict thoughts about, I have to know everything all of the time. Right. And if I don't know everything, then I don't know anything. And unless I know everything, well, then I just can't be good at something, right? And this is all very much all or nothing thinking. It's black and white. It's perfectionistic thinking. It doesn't do us any favors, right? So we have to remember, it doesn't matter what role we're in. We're a parent, we're an employee, we're a partner. We are not expected to know it all. And the pressure that people put themselves under, whether it's in friendships and relationships and new jobs, taking on new challenges, I have to know it all, and I have to know it all from day one. Sorry, you can't. That's just an unfortunate reality of it, right? We got to struggle, and we've got to say, I don't really know how to do this. How would I approach? How would you approach this? Could you tell me how I should approach this, for example? Yeah, and that's part of it. So there's always those opportunities, right, for us to learn and grow. So it doesn't matter if you've been in the role for 30 years, right? We still have opportunities to say, I didn't know that. I never came across that. That's something else I could add to my repertoire of my community work, my parenting, whatever it is, right? But also, it doesn't serve us to pretend that we have every answer, right? But it benefits us and it benefits other people to know where to go for assistance when we need it, and then to avail ourselves of those resources. Okay, so we've got to throw out this idea of knowing it all at all points and at all stages, and particularly when we're getting started with things or we're still in those early days, but not just then. Throughout our journey, in whatever role it is, we've got to be able to throw out that idea. Right? Does that make sense? Jackie, you have to go. Good to see you. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, and we have to remind ourselves it's going to be good for us. It's going to be beneficial for us. That doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. Okay, but we do have to change those attitudes. So we've been talking about our thoughts and our attitudes and our rules and things like that over the last couple of weeks. And this is where we're bringing those ideas together, but in terms of being able to help us in terms of asking for help. Okay, so we've got to explore those attitudes, explore those thoughts, and they often come up as barriers. So you might be saying, I'm really struggling with this question. Oh, geez, I wonder would Sarah know? But then you go, I don't know. I don't know if I want to ask Sarah. And what if Sarah expects me to know? Or what if I look like then I'm going to be found out and everyone in the office is going to know I didn't know the answer to that and I didn't know how to do that. Right? It doesn't work like that. So it benefits us to ask for assistance when we need it. Okay, so that's going to be very important. Now, as well, a couple of you mentioned that word vulnerability in the comments, and you are all spot on, because also what we can do is we can link vulnerability with being weak, right? But what we have to remind ourselves is asking for help takes self-awareness and it takes courage, right? So yes, we are a little bit vulnerable when we are asking for help. We are saying, I don't know what to do here, or I don't know how to approach this, or I don't know anything about this. But again, we're reminding ourselves that it's going to help us to be stronger in the long run. But we've got to have that courage in order to be able to do it, right? And that's why, as part of our TSD, our self-reflection work, we've got to know where our strengths lie and where they don't. So we've got to be able to say, there's a bit of a gap here in my skills, or there's a bit of a gap here in my knowledge, and that's okay. And being able to address that, not take it personally. It's just, no, that's something I'm really good at. that's something I kind of need to work more on, or ask for more guidance, and that's all right. So again, the most efficient way to proceed, focus our efforts where you have the most impact, implore others to fill in the gaps according to their skill set. So you might say, I don't really know anything about this particular topic, but I know who does. And then from there, it can lead to teamwork and collaboration. And then they might say, listen, I'll have you. Get some thoughts on the situation. What do you think about that? And now we have the opportunity of connection, building relationships, teamwork. Because oftentimes there's a sense of, oh, you trusted me enough to ask for my help and ask for my thoughts. And she's well, have you? I might do the same. And then we've got, somebody that we can confide in, somebody that we can go to for support. And that's very important. So to be vulnerable is to provide the opportunity to connect and to pool those resources. And as a result, strength. As a result, we build that rocket ship and we get it up into space and land it wherever we want to land it. But we've got to be vulnerable in order to be able to do that, right? Even the first person who said, I think I'm going to build a rocket and I'm going to send it into outer space, right? That takes a lot of vulnerability. I'm sure people went, yeah, I'm sure you will. Yeah, well, good luck with that. And that person said, no, I'm gonna achieve this. I'm gonna have to ask a lot of people for their experience and their knowledge, but I'm gonna make this happen. It's a vulnerable thing to do. But from doing it, look at what we've done, and we've been able to learn about science and the environment and all those on our planet and all those good things. So it helps us to connect and pool our resources. And like we said, again, we might be in, let's say, taking the gyms, because I know a couple of years back into the gym and doing PT sessions, which is great. And if we were asking somebody saying, gosh, I saw you using that machine there, would you be able to just show me how you did that? And they might think, oh gosh. And then it gives them a sense of, oh yeah, and sure, if I see you the next time now when you're in the gym, I'll say hello, and oh, there's that person who helped me. Again, it gives us those opportunities for connection. So it is a good thing. Bearing in mind, right? And as we said, there's a chance that somebody will say no, and that's okay. We can adapt from there. Now, also remind ourselves, touched it on this briefly, right? We love stories about spontaneous help, right? I don't know if anyone's come across any nice, maybe random acts of kindness on social media or videos of people doing nice things. I saw one there, and it was a man running in the New York Marathon there recently, and he got a cramp in one of his legs. And this couple who were standing on the sidelines, they were just watching, jumped over the barriers, and one of them was there like rubbing the muscle to try and get it going. The other guy was kind of holding him up, and they got him sorted, and off he went, and he continued on. And of course, there's a reason that these kind of videos go viral, or stories like this go viral, because it's a nice thing. We as humans, we like to think, oh, they helped that person. So people want to help, but they can't help if they don't know, because this is oftentimes, again, it's that fear of, oh, I wish I knew, what to do in this situation. I wish I knew how to approach this situation. And then we hold it in and we suffer and we struggle. Whereas people are saying, geez, I wish you'd asked me that. Wish you'd asked me for help. I would have helped you with that. I would have told you about that. So we want to remind ourselves that for the most part, humans want to help other people. It gives us a feel-good sense of, yeah, we're all human together. So direct requests can remove uncertainties. Asking for help can enable kindness and unlock opportunities then, as we said, for those positive social connections. And then the next time somebody else asks us for help, then we'll be more inclined to help them out as well. It's kind of passing on that. It's always a little bit like, passing on the good vibe. Let's say if you're pulling out of a car park and somebody calls you out, you're in traffic, somebody calls you out and says, oh, you could pull out there, and you say, great. And then somebody else up the road is in the same position, and you go, gosh, that person was so nice to me. If you go, and it all just works together. And the same thing with asking for help. We can all help each other then move and unlock and learn and grow and all of that good stuff. And as we said, we can create emotional closeness. Now, I hear you say, oh, emotional closeness. Vulnerability, yes, but vulnerability is a good thing, because when we ask somebody for help, we're kind of on that next level of connection, aren't we? I mean, maybe if there's somebody that we see in the, I don't know, in our local shop, in our day-to-day, or out in our walk, probably not going to ask them for help because we don't really know them. But maybe we have gotten to know somebody at the gym, or we've gotten to know somebody in work or something like that, or some neighbor maybe we've called in and maybe asked for some milk, we've run out. And there is a sense of, oh, that person asked for my help. That person came to me. That person was vulnerable with me. And then from there, of course, that helps us to share those connections. So again, oftentimes, if you like to run from vulnerability, then asking for help might seem like it's quite challenging. So remember, we want to know ourselves. We want to be able to flag, okay, this is definitely something that I'm struggling with. So this is something that I need to practice more. Ruth, you've got to go. We'll see you soon. Excellent. Okay. So reminding ourselves it's a good thing. That's why we see all those spontaneous help, those good spontaneous help stories on social media, because people like them. They help us to feel good. We like to help other people, right? So we want to be, again, cognizant of that. Okay. Now, also worthwhile to think about whether you're willing to help others when asked. Okay. So Haley was chatting about that earlier, saying, I know I'm very willing to help other people, but I'd never feel that other people are willing to help me, or I feel like there's a perception that I'm a burden and they won't be willing to help me. But we've also got to say, are you willing to help other people? I mean, let's ask ourselves that question. Are we willing to help other people? If somebody came, and obviously it has to be something that we are able to help them with. We have to be in a position to do it. But ask yourself that question. Am I willing to help somebody? Do I have some sort of, resources, abilities to say yes? And if you tend to say yes, and then maybe even happy to be asked, then perhaps you can better see the value in asking for support from somebody else, right? And then again, as I said, we've got to replace those attitudes. Asking for help does not devalue us in any way, right? It can enable you to advance, to connect, right? To be more productive, to be able to achieve your goals, and to better prepare you for that next challenge. Not saying it's easy, right? But it's going to be effective, and it's going to get us to where we want to get to. And it's going to help us to strengthen our relationships and things like that on the way. So it's all very positive. Okay, so what I would like you to do for a couple of minutes in the breakout rooms, I'd like you to discuss what we can gain by asking for help. So I want you to think about on your TSD journey with your TSD goals you're working on, how can asking for help, right? How's that going to improve things? How's that going to help you to achieve your goals? What can we gain by asking for help? Okay. And then I want you to think about maybe one or two ways, how can we best go about it? Okay. So how are we going to be able to go? So let's say we've identified something in relation to our TSD goals. I think I need some help there. What would be the benefits of me asking for that help? And then I need you to give me one or two reasons as to how we might go about doing that. Because remember, these are all skills. So like we've talked about previously with setting boundaries, for example, we have to learn how to do that. Saying no, we got to learn how to do that, right? Problem solving, we got to learn how to do that. Same thing for asking for help. Okay. So I'm going to pop you into the breakout rooms. Welcome back, everybody. How are we getting on? Alrighty. So I'll go straight to room number one. So in room number one, we had Anne, Kay, Kelly, Leslie, and Sarah. How did ye get on in your chat? Do you have a spokesperson?
Anne, do you want to speak?
Oh, thank you. I think Leslie was asking quite a few questions because she is very new to Elite, and we were sort of just talking about going into the gym for the first time, and sort of how scary that is about asking people for help, and just getting her familiar with what equipment we've got in the gym, and who do we ask, and all the rest of it. What else were we talking about?
Sarah's walking.
So, it's Sarah was talking about walking, and we
Mhm.
were talking about walking in the dark, and
Oh yes, yes.
who does it and who doesn't. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sarah loves walking in the dark.
because Sarah had asked at the reception where the hotel where she is, kind of asked them for suggestions of where to walk,
Very
which
good.
said was something she wouldn't have done before. So that was
Yeah.
a really
Good.
nice example.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd have
Brilliant.
never done it before TSD. I'd have just sat in the hotel being lazy. So because of the goals, keeping up my steps, not adding any weight,
Yeah.
I asked the receptionist where I could go for a walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well done. Yeah, that's excellent.
Yeah, so we're just kind of chatting around these two kind of topics, I think. Was there anything else?
Fantastic. Yeah, that was excellent. Well done, room one. Brilliant stuff. And room two, we had Daryl, Haley, Jennifer, Rhonda, and Sue. How did she get on?
Who wants to be our spokesperson?
Well done, Jennifer.
Yeah, well done, Jennifer.
See who has the vision gets the job. I should have kept quiet, shouldn't I? I'm just I don't think any of us took any notes, so I'm just gonna say what I can remember, and please, if I forget something, somebody jump in. But we're talking about posts that we'd seen on the inner circle, and we were saying like asking for help on the inner circle
Yes.
is a safe place.
Brilliant.
But when you start, often you're not aware of that. You see everybody's successes and you're afraid to put down anything.
Yeah,
but
very good.
Once you do read a help post, it's not only are you asking for help, it helps other people to realize that they can ask for help too. And we then also said about how things, when you've got a problem, if it stays in your head, how it becomes enormous. You get
very good.
catastrophize everything. And it's really good, like if it's on the inner circle, you're writing it down, so it's getting it out. And I've said sometimes even just asking yourself for the help and getting it, saying it out loud, because as soon as you say it out loud, you then go, but that's ridiculous, and you realize yourself. But sometimes you need somebody else to offer that. So I think that's really what most of our conversations were about. Please, somebody chip in if I've missed something out.
It was excellent. Yeah, well done. Yeah, and really, really good. And as you said, Jennifer, it's so much easier when we actually just go, and I need to say this to somebody, I need to ask for help. I need to, because it gets so jumbled up in our head and it becomes more and more pressure. And then we just say, could you give me a hand with this? And someone says, yeah. And it's, okay, great. Yeah, and the relief of it. But again, those unhelpful beliefs that we have and unhelpful attitudes can hold us back from doing that. So that's our first challenge, is the self-reflection. How am I? Do I struggle in terms of asking for help? And then from there, addressing any sort of negative attitudes or issues that might come, in terms of get in the way of us asking for help. And then we've got to be able to challenge those, remind ourselves. It gives us opportunity for connection. It gives us opportunity for growth. It gives us loads of different opportunities. So reminding ourselves, it's a good thing. And if we are struggling, the best way to do it is start small. Start with a small little thing that you need help with and ask a safe person. So somebody that you know, more than likely they're going to say yes, right? Would you just give me a hand opening this here? Or it could be something very trivial, but it's the act of getting going with it. And that, okay, I can ask for help. Oh, that went okay. And we build from there, and then you can build it out. And then eventually maybe you're asking a colleague, and you're working it that way, or a neighbor, somebody who you don't know particularly well, right? So start small. Start with who we know, and then we work it up from there. All righty. So listen, well done, everybody. It was great to chat to you, and I'll see you all same time, same place next week.
Thank
Will
you.
do. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.